took me a while to realize that DBZ wasn't the world's greatest fucking anime. I think My Hero is trash. I think Naruto is trash.
Oh, see, look, all right.
What would happen is these countercultural nerdy niggas would see themselves in the character. They'd be like, "Oh, he's a lame, but he works real hard and he gets important, and then people start to like him, and he be Hokage, and that's gonna be me." So like you look at, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I definitely see myself in characters.
You throwing shade at it because
it's a red flag.
I know you said you were a Kendrick fan. You like Kendrick and don't really care for Drake, but still, it's like, bro, Not Like Us, biggest commercial hit of a diss track. Somebody from the Grammy committee said that shit is actually Grammy eligible. Can you imagine if that shit actually win a Grammy?
I mean, Kendrick's the Grammy darling. Anytime he drops something, it's a Grammy.
Yeah, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody hand him a Grammy right now, but it's deserved.
I think his album's going to be good. I think the album will deserve, because that's what I think all of this is leading up to. I think it's a masterful way of capitalizing onto the beef to continue to drive presence in the zeitgeist, and I think it's especially unique considering how fast things tend to move, and this has been fairly sticky. Like, this is, 60 days of this being like a talking point. That's kind of unheard of in the streaming era. So I think him and his team have done a really good job of keeping the flames lit, and I think that's going to pay a lot of dividends when he drops what I'm assuming is going to be an album fairly soon.
And I agree with you, like, because they did a phenomenal job with the marketing, the promotion, like, especially, most importantly, is like strategics.
The show,
my nigga.
When it dropped, the video when it dropped, I think they've done a great job.
Everything like they're like a masterclass in strategy in terms of artistry, beef, whatever you want to call it. This is like one of the biggest moments in hip hop, point blank, period. Like,
no,
yes,
I 1,000,000% agree, and I think that the moment is selling it more than the song is. But I think that moments often do that, right? Because I remember, for example, 50 and Josh, and I remember Jay-Z and Nas. I don't remember Pac and Biggie like that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember Pac and Biggie more so than. I was young as fuck when Pac and Biggie was going. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't remember that as a cultural moment, but I remember the moments of Jay-Z and Nas, and I remember the moments of 50 and Josh. 50 and Josh was about the moment, right? It wasn't about the music. Like, the music wasn't that great. I feel like Jay and Nas was the opposite. I feel like this is somewhere in between. Like, I feel like the moment is driving it, but I also feel like you have some very classic moments that came out of this that also make the moment even bigger. Like, I think that's why this is particularly special.
So in that regard, I would say this particular thing between Kendrick and Drake, like this beef, the music is making the moment. I don't think we've had so many like responses that actually mattered, that people was locked into, than this, and that had like so many responses that people actually gave a fuck about. And say what you want about Drake, he was a worthy contender. It's just Kendrick beat him at every goddamn level. Like, when Kendrick responded, like after that 7 days or 10 days, whatever, however long it took Kendrick to drop after Drake dropped those 2 disses, it was like, oh, where you at, bitch? Oh, you're scared. As soon as Kendrick dropped Euphoria, it was a Kendrick battle from there on out, period.
I wasn't impressed with anything that Kendrick did until Meet the Grams came out. I think Meet the Grams as a concept is way fucking better than Not Like Us. Like, Meet the Grams in terms of, again, capitalizing on the moment, in terms of when he dropped it, in terms of the crafting of a diss track. Meet the Grams is a top 3 like diss track concept.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it's even more poignant given the fact that he dropped it as quickly as he did after Drake dropped a song where he had probably rapped the best he'd rapped in probably 7 years. Like, years since Drake had rapped like he did on Family Matters, and it didn't matter at all. Like, I don't like somebody said this on Twitter maybe an hour ago. They don't even remember what Family Matters sound like. I don't even remember what Family Matters sounds like. Like it was made that irrelevant. And
I,
again, I remember seeing the video and I remember liking the song and being like, okay, man,
yeah, Drake
Drake
got
might
one.
be back. Drake
He up
might be up, and then immediately forgetting that it even existed.
40 minutes later, bro.
Like you can't time it better than that. And which is why it's weird to me that people are still debating whether or not like that this is over, because that comes up on my timeline all the time, and I'm like, why are we even having a discussion about this, man? Like Drake lost, like it's over, it's done.
right.
We're talking about aftermath now.
Exactly.
We're talking about albums now.
It's like Kendrick, like you said, Kendrick fucking won. Like there's no if, ands, or buts. You got some diehard Drake fans like, yeah, he gave it a good shot, man. Like I still fuck with Drake, but like no, like the overall consensus, we all know Kendrick won. Drake should not and better not respond to. He better not, because on God, like I really do feel like it would not go well for him. Like not only the public's reaction, unless it's a banger and a bop of a song, but I still feel like Kendrick will have some other shit that would just, it's like, okay.
I wonder what it's going to do to his career, because I made a point that it doesn't impact people when they lose close, right? So the consensus for Jay-Z and Nas, which I also disagree with, but the consensus between Jay-Z and Nas is that Nas won.
Yeah, because of Ether.
Yeah, Nas won. Nas went on to not be a huge commercial success post that. Jay-Z went on to become, for a time, the biggest rapper on the planet. And but that's because Jay-Z kept it close. Like Jay-Z won around. As I tell people all the time, like Takeover wasn't Takeover versus Ether. So Jay-Z actually won the Takeover round. If I recall, during the Hot 97 poll, it was the consensus in those conversations that he just couldn't come back from Ether. So when you keep it close, when you have two superstar rappers and you keep it close, I think it's a wash. When you don't have a showing that strong at all and you just get lapped, which I truly feel that Drake ultimately did. I wonder what this looks like for him, because when the last time I remember that happening was 50 and Ja, where Ja got lapped. And he was never able to do that. And Ja Rule released some of his best music ever post the 50 beef. Like New York is probably his best song ever.
Wait, we talking about the one with Fat Joe and Jadakiss?
Yeah, like with
the for the clips.
Yeah, like it has one of Jadakiss's best verses ever on that song.
But not Ja Rule's.
Sweeter. Life's a bitch, depending on how you treat her. You might get rich, it's guaranteed you're gonna die. You might get missed for maybe 2 or 3 hours till they like they spliffs, and that could get you a long time. But when I let them know the dope is out, it's like America online. Right. Wise as awoken. And they say that you deserved it whenever you die with your eyes open. Like it's a phenomenal verse. Like that's one of Ja Rule's greatest songs. And nobody bought that shit. So
that's not Ja Rule. That's Jadakiss. But I feel
that's fair. But it's Ja Rule's song. I get what you're saying. You're right. But it's Ja Rule's song, and nobody bought it. My thinking is that this may impact Drake's career a lot more than a lot of people are thinking it is. Like Drake has been on like 3 features since this came out, and it didn't really move the needle. It didn't really have the Drake effect like it used to. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if Drake is still the undisputed biggest rapper in the world after this. I'm not saying it's a dead set thing. I'm just saying that like he been on some features and ain't nobody listening to that shit. That's all I'm saying.
But we gotta think about the features though at the same time too. But I agree with you, because I am of the same opinion that Drake's career has taken a hit, and especially because like when it's a large group of people and a good 30% of the motherfuckers already don't fuck with you. 50% of them niggas just kind of in the middle. They enjoy your music when they hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's popping. Like this is what's popular. Yeah, I fuck with Drake. Kendrick? Oh, I always fuck with Kendrick. Yeah, you right, man. This nigga, I ain't know all this shit about Drake. He is a culture vulture. Oh, man, you heard this shit. That type of shit, like that type of crowd that's in the fence. Mm-hmm. And then, like them diehard fans. So in between all that noise and mixture, I do believe his career has and will take a little bit of a hit. But the key difference between Drake and Ja Rule is Drake is way more of a talented artist than Ja Rule is.
Agreed.
Way more.
Agreed.
So Drake gonna have some bops. Like he gonna do something. Like I feel like he can. Like even on that goddamn god awful song, that Sexy Red song he did. Babe, I love you. You my everything. That BBL Drizzy flip, that shit was tough. But just at the time, wasn't nobody trying to hear that shit. But niggas heard it and they was like, all right. But it's the energy against you is just so overwhelming right now that this is not going to do any justice to like what you actually did in the moment, because that was a great fucking flip. And that shit, his verse was a bop, but it just ain't working right now. So we'll see if that train continues. I don't know.
Yeah. And before you actually fucking introduce the podcast, I will just say that I think a lot of people forget exactly how big Ja Rule was pre 50 beef.
Oh yeah.
Like there were conversations about like him, DMX, and Jay-Z like taking over rap.
Yeah.
That was like a legitimate conversation at the time.
Yeah, big
facts. Then didn't happen.
Ever since Wankster, shit was downhill. And ever since Wankster, when niggas heard that 50 was talking about Ja Rule and like the backstory because of 50's like rise to fame during that time and his backstory. Yeah, it was nah. Yeah, people do actually very much so forget about Ja Rule's game in the early 2000s. No doubt about it. And with that being said, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 dating, relationship, hip-hop analysis, and governmental financial analysis podcast in the entire world, in the entire universe. Some parts of the fifth dimension. You know what I'm saying? We even got some noise going on in the sixth dimension. It's your boys, Josh. It's Alvin. Alvin, can you tell the people where Eddy at?
Yeah, he's currently auditioning / interviewing to be the new head coach of U.S. men's soccer heading into the Paris Olympics. I think he can finally get him over the hump, man. I think he can win the big one.
I think so too.
I believe that we will win.
And I wasn't familiar with Eddy's game, until this point. But when we was in London, we was like walking around. I think it was in Shoreditch. Niggas was playing soccer. A ball came flying at us. Eddy caught it with his foot, just one foot, and then just gently like rolled it back over to the folks. So I had before that had no idea how his game was. Brilliant lad, truly a fucking legend. How the fuck does he do it?
He's basically America's Messi. That's what I heard. That's what the streets told me.
That is what the streets are saying. Messi, please. What's one of your favorite childhood memories pre-high school? Well, I should say pre-graduation from high school.
Shit, I don't know, man. My childhood wasn't very great.
Was there a happy moment?
High school, definitely. I say middle school too. Like, I mean, I had fun at school. Like, my school life was great. Like, I had great friends. I've always done well in school. School was fine. My home life was horrible. So I'd say, I mean, I loved awards days. I got trophies. I got validation. It made it feel like doing that was worth it growing up. Like, I remember fairly early on seeing that as like my ultimate way out of a situation. So like, I liked awards days. I liked sports. Sports was fun. Again, because sports gave me validation.
What sport did you play in high school?
Football.
What position?
Defensive end.
My nigga. Oh yeah, you was all right. One of them toughens.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed being an active uncle for most of my time in middle and high school.
At 14?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, I have adult nephews. Like, I have nephews that I'm effectively functionally more big brother to than traditional unc status. So I was at the hospital when my second nephew was born. Like, I held him the night he was born, kind of situation.
Then you had to go home and do your homework.
Yeah. I was there when my third nephew was born as well. So being an active uncle was a joy. It was a pleasure and a privilege, and I got to do that again through middle school through high school because we lived in the same house.
Everybody was in the same house with I'm guessing with the mom being in that home. Mm-hmm. What was it that brought you joy in being an active uncle?
The fact that I was there. Like, it was like being there was a point of pride, which makes me happy. Like, having a pride point There again, it was very much along the lines of everything else I've said. It was just another point of validation.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
Which I think children need. I think that a thing that gets underrated for people's formative years is like so I'd say now I don't need a lot of external validation. Like I do stuff and it just kind of is what it is.
Oh yeah.
But the reason why I'm confident and I don't need a lot of external validation now is because during my formative years I had a good foundation of getting a lot of confidence boosting external validation, which I think carries you into adulthood, which is why I think it's very important for people to do that to children. Like I think you should validate your kids and make sure that they're boosted up and that they have the big head, because that's how I think you make adults that aren't solely dependent on external validation in order to do things.
I feel you on that because but I've also seen that work in the opposite way. You know what I mean? Because it's not like
Touche.
a one
That's fair.
size fits all. Because like some people get like a lot of external validation when they're young, and not all of it is warranted or well deserved. And then when they get into adulthood, they still seeking external validation like in a negative way.
They still it's like a drug and they still want the hit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
got
right.
you. Yeah.
And
That's a great point
and
actually.
you ain't got the work ethic behind wanting to get like you just a bum just wanting some shit low key, or it's like toxic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so yeah, I think it's definitely a balance. Like you know what I mean. But I'm glad that it worked out for you, and then I'm pretty sure like other people too. Because, but I guess you did. I guess you know what I would venture to say like from hearing your story like a couple times that there was a balance because like like this an extreme balance maybe, and them scales still might not have tipped all the way in the right direction for you, but if you have like such like a negative experience at home, like even though you got great sisters, but like overall it's like this person is really fucking up. But I have so much validation, so much good job album like when I'm at school, when I'm around friends, I'm experiencing like something that's on the opposite of what I get to when I'm at home. And then you go through life and then you're still humble and you work hard. Like I feel like that is what culminates. Well, for some people, maybe culminates into like that balance that you have in some way,
Yeah, I
without
think
it
that's
being like
fair.
negative.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And obviously I can't speak on that objectively because we're literally talking about me. But I would
I mean,
I
it's
would
you.
so I'm 1,000,000% biased in this
Yeah.
conversation. But no, I think there's something to that. But I do think that you bring up like a super interesting point about all things in balance effectively, right? Like all things in balance with children. Like I think that a lot of people do things where they swing the pendulum one direction or another too much based on their individual experiences.
Mm.
So I will keep that in my database, because now that I think about it, I think that I probably would swing the pendulum too far in the
Mm.
direction of validation for my
Mm.
children and probably kind of
Fuck them
fuck them
up,
up.
Loki.
So your insights there may have just saved my future children. So
Hey,
much appreciated.
that is a privilege and an honor, good sir. I'm happy to do that. Um, man, one of my favorite childhood memories. I've always felt like I've had like a really solid group of friends
Mhm.
because like the family, like family wise, I wasn't like raised in like an abusive home, but like there was some shit, but I didn't mind being at home. Like home was like still like an overall safe space for me. But one of my greatest blessings in life was my friends, especially during the times of like elementary, middle school, high school. Like I've mostly associated with the same people.
Mhm.
There was this one night. It's probably about like 3 months after like all of us had got our like first cars and shit. So you know how it is when you get your first car and
Yeah.
shit, man. Goddamn, you just wasting gas, riding around the city not doing shit. So check this out, right? I'm gonna use their aliases. So it was 4 of us that night. We was driving in my car. Me and my homeboy Gino was in my car, and then in the other car, my homeboy Jay, aka Jay Killer, aka Je m'appelle. This nigga had a 1985 two-door hatchback bronze Chevy Citation. Call that bitch the Roach or the Penny.
Oh my god.
Look that shit up, bro. Like anybody look that car up. Cause when he got it, cause even at the time we was like, God damn, wait, nigga, you got a car. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's all that mattered in high school, man.
Exactly, bro. Like that shit had rust when it rained, goddamn rain to be leaking into that bitch. And it was our other homeboy, Pink Man, one of the funniest niggas I know in real life. And I don't know, I cannot remember how the hell this chain of events like set off, but somehow we got into like a food war, like a drive-by food war, like in between our cars. I remember us being at the McDonald's and my nigga Jay walked out his car, came up to my shit, had like a large Sprite, like a large, cup of Sprite, threw that shit at my window, at the driver's side window, and it was just on and popping after that. Like we was just throwing shit at each other's cars. And they got to one point, Gino threw some shit at Jay car, like when he was behind us, and Jay sped up in that goddamn Chevy Citation, passed us on the left, goddamn got in front of us, and I just see this, I see this nigga Pink Man. You remember them black cats? Used to come like a 12 pack. You just light this one end, and it
Yes.
just
Yes.
bruh. I already, because like he got the black cats for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was,
Yeah.
I think it might have been a 4th of July weekend or some shit. I don't know. It was like, it was probably around that time. It was definitely something. I see this nigga Pink Man light this black cat up in the car. This nigga reached his hand out the window and threw that bit forward. The goddamn pack of black cats landed in between the nigga hood and windshield, like perfectly, just dead on the car. Next thing, that bitch went off, and all you see is lights, smoke, and these niggas in the car panicking. Jay started goddamn going left and right, swerving and shit.
Oh my god.
Bro, when I tell like just the sight of that was some of the funniest shit I have ever seen in real fucking life. Because why the fuck would you throw that shit forward? The windshield wipers is going because he's trying to knock it off the car.
And this is why they made it harder for teenagers to get licenses in Georgia. It was specifically because of Pink Man.
Yep. It's all that nigga fault, bro.
I'm tripping on y'all niggas throwing food. That's how you knew. For the listeners out there, food was cheap back in the day. The dollar menu was a thing.
Bruh. For real, man. Dog, like I remember after high school, I would like get a legit $5 hot and ready. I go to KFC, get 3 of their chicken sliders, like when they was like a dollar.
Yeah.
Fries from McDonald's or some shit, and go home and just have a goddamn smorgasbord.
Yeah, man. I was eating and being like satisfied when I was in high school off like, and this is out because I can still eat in a week and be like fine now with some caveats for about $50 a week. But I was eating out in high school and being full for like $15 a week. Like you cannot do that shit no more. Like that shit's literally fucking impossible now.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And y'all niggas was just throwing the Sprites. Y'all niggas was throwing the fucking McChickens and shit.
Man, everybody had a little job. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what was your first job in high school? Did you have one? Or did you have one?
Yeah, I had several. What was my first job? I want to say it was Kroger. I didn't last long.
Yeah. Was you like getting carts and shit?
Yeah. And it was hard. They had me stocking and shit, man. I'm like, I ain't built for this shit. I'm tired.
I ain't built.
And I remember being very happy. I remember being very happy about getting the job because like they paid every week, and I was like, oh shit, they get paid every week instead of every 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
So that was gonna be the cheat code. I lasted I think 2 weeks,
Bruh.
and I was like, I'm not doing this shit.
Dog, like man, one of my best friends that I met in college, he was working at Kroger. He was like, man, that was the best job I ever had, man. That was my first job, nigga. I love working at Kroger, nigga. I was an employee. So to hear you be like, man, I hated that shit.
Man, I hated.
He was like, nah, goddamn, I was
bagging.
shit. I was a pro at bagging. Nigga, I was out there getting the carts, pushing them in.
Nah, man, I hated that shit.
Man, damn, I feel it, nigga. My first job was Zaxby's. You know,
Can't do fast food. Can't do,
bruh. That was my first and only fast food, like food related job ever. Cause not surprisingly to many, you get the dirtiest working in fast food or being in the kitchen. Come home every day, just skin just full of grease, clothes full of grease, just dirty as shit. Got all sorts of condiments on you. But I was that nigga though. I remember one time the general manager or some shit came in like, yo, who made these chicken tenders? I was like, shit, that was me. These are perfect. I was like, yeah, I know shit. I put them in nice and gently, fried them to perfection. These plates, yeah, check them out. Put some extra fries on it.
Niggas don't take pride in their work no more, man. Zaxby's fell off.
Oh man, not the one by my spot.
So okay, so
not the one by my spot, bro.
Here's my thing with Zaxby's now, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do have this rant is on my soul. Zaxby's is so fucking inconsistent now. I remember when Zaxby's first dropped, like when Zaxby's first started like proliferating and shit. That shit used to be top tier fucking fast casual food, man. Top tier shit.
I thought that shit was like low key like a dine in, you know.
That's
like
what I'm saying. That shit felt like going to Chili's. Like I was like, right. I was like, this is like legit
Ruby
shit.
Tuesday.
Now the shit is so inconsistent. It's like
that's unfortunate because the one by my spot, my boy, and I go there. I frequent them like probably on average 4 times a month. If you break it down, that's kind of a lot. And they might have fucked my order up maybe twice.
Damn.
And that's that, but that's it though. Like every time, like it's consistent. Like
whatever they doing, they need to tell fucking Zaxby's on Boulevard what they secret formula is for consistency and just like spread that shit.
You on the goddamn Boulevard? That's a problem. You need to go to the one. You need to go to the one off of a goddamn, I don't know, Lenox Street or whatever. Oh shit, good happen on the Boulevard. You know that?
I'm just saying. Get to work, Zaxby's.
Yeah, this nigga getting Zaxby's off the Boulevard complaining. What you expect? Come on, brother. All right. So one thing next, I want to talk about. All right. What's some of your most unpopular anime hot takes?
I don't know, man, because like everything that I would say, like anime is such a wide and diverse community. Naruto is trash.
Oh, see, look. All right, there you go. You on that bullshit.
But a decent amount of people agree with that.
We talking about Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, or just like the whole collection of it?
The whole collection of it. I'll throw Boruto in there as well. Like it's all
Boruto is absolute garbage. Like they had potential, but they
agreed. There's potential there. I think My Hero is trash. I think a lot of those Shōnen like animes are absolute garbage. So like.
What? My Hero Academia? You think My Hero Academia is trash?
Mm-hmm.
Are you watching the new season? Mm-hmm. And you still think it's trash?
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh my God, you wild. We ain't got enough time for this goddamn topic.
Yeah. So like, but most of those Shōnen like anime are trash. Like, I think Bleach could have been good.
Yeah, Bleach is trash. I'm with you on that.
I think One Piece could have been good. I think.
Oh, wow, you really?
I think all of them.
Fences.
I think all of them are trash. I think what most people do is they do one of two things. They have this feeling of nostalgia based on whatever they started with. Like that's why people still like Dragon Ball Z, despite the fact that Dragon Ball Z is very mediocre. Like
extremely mediocre now.
Dragon Ball Z had its moments. Most of them involving Vegeta, but.
Gohan, come on, you can't say that. Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 first time when Goku went Super Saiyan against Frieza.
The first time when Goku went Super Saiyan was great, but like the best moments of that were when Frieza killed Vegeta, spoiler alert, when Frieza killed Vegeta on planet Namek, and he explains his life story where he was like, you know, he made me a child soldier effectively. He was like, he said he would kill my father if I didn't do XYZ, and then I did everything he said, and he killed him anyway. And he was like, please kill this motherfucker, basically. I remember being
with tears strolling down.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And Goku, you know, he does the little shit and he makes him a grave, and he was like, you never had a chance to be anything other than what he made you to be. Or my favorite Dragon Ball Z quote is, tell me, is it still slavery if you get what you want? Is a fucking
when he
bar.
blew up the crowd at the tournament.
A fucking bar.
Yeah, that was
or again, and when he blew himself up. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. But the point is that you have these like nostalgia moments based on whatever like your entry point to anime was, and I think you overhype that based on the nostalgia glasses. That's 1. 2. I think people have. Especially old school anime people, because anime is pretty mainstream now. Like anime is pretty, it's approaching superhero level of mainstream, right?
It's
so a lot of people
like you kind of like, if you're not watching anime, if you have never watched an anime, you kind of weird at this point, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Like it's something that 10, 15 years ago it was strictly for a nerdier crowd, but it's become mainstream now. Again, just like superhero and comic book shit has.
like the
So yeah, so now, so this may not resonate with people now, but back in the day when like Naruto was first coming into his own and big, what would happen is these countercultural nerdy niggas would see themselves in the character. They'd be like, "Oh, he's a lame, but he works real hard and he gets important, and then people start to like him, and he be Hokage, and that's gonna be me." So like you look at, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I definitely see myself in characters.
You throwing shade at it because it's.
I see myself in characters all the time. Like, so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying that it makes how you evaluate the media inaccurate, because that shit is not great. And there are other shonen anime that I feel like have like vastly surpassed that, if not in writing, because I talk about Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer all the time in regards to this, and people highlight the writing of them. Cool, whatever. We could disagree on the writing. Both of those look amazing. Mappa put the fucking A team on JJK. That shit looks a million times better than a fucking One Piece or a Bleach or a Naruto. So, if for nothing other than that, if I'm gonna compare shitty writing to shitty writing, I'm gonna pick the one that looks better. So, but that's Alvin's hot anime take for the segment.
Nigga, you swung for the motherfucking fences, bro. Like I guarantee you, you got some people mad because you got me riled up because what the fuck, My Hero Academia is trash. Naruto is trash. Nah, bro. It ain't even just about nostalgia, because I just got to defend this real quick, because I got my own anime hot takes too. But I got to defend this shit real quick because they're one of the most peak moments in anime, like top 50 peak moments in anime that happened in Naruto. Fuck the Great Ninja War in Shippuden. Fuck when died. Spoiler alerts. Sorry.
I know.
Sorry. Damn. Okay. Maybe we need to take that out. Just bleep.
Don't take
when
that's been long enough, man.
Well,
it's been long enough.
If anybody want to go back and watch Naruto and watch all 500 episodes of that shit, who knows? But one of the greatest moments was when Rock Lee fought Gaara and took off them down and dropped the weights.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like peak at any given time.
Fair enough.
And then, but again, like, yes, the story could be like repetitive. Naruto versus Sasuke, Naruto chasing after this nigga, like they whole love interest, like, we're best buddies, but secretly, I don't know. How do you feel about me?
It's a bro.
Samurai Champloo still goated. Trigun still goated. I have very fond memories. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think it has to be. I think, like, because I remember a lot of stuff fondly that is also still good, but I also think that I can, at my big age now, like, separate when I'm hyping some up just for nostalgia. For example, I still enjoy Dragon Ball Z, but I can 100% say that I'm giving that a nostalgia bump. I also can say, like, there are things that, like, I'm not giving a nostalgia bump. Like, I'm not giving Samurai Champloo a nostalgia bump. It's just good, Okay. Like, I'm not giving Death Note a nostalgia bump, because and I've talked about this before. Death Note was my first my first highbrow anime, my first anime that I was like, oh, this is so cerebral and that kind of shit. That was my first highbrow anime. I have fond memories of that and like the time of my life when I was watching that, but I think it stands on its own merit, despite the fact that I also have the nostalgia for it. But I think a lot of people can't separate the nostalgia from the material itself with respect to a Naruto.
The Great Ninja War. Like, it's the only thing is, like, the only reason why I would not go back and watch it is just because it's too many fucking episodes and I ain't got time for that. Like, it's a lot of other good anime coming out, but I feel you on that. Like, some people just really overhype because of nostalgia, how it made you feel when you was a kid versus how you feel about it today.
And I've done it. I'm not being wholly now. Like, I've done it. I had to grow out of that shit. Again, it took me a while to realize that DBZ wasn't the world's greatest fucking anime. Who'd have thunk it?
At a point, it was, but like it's the foundation that DBZ laid for future generations of shonen anime and like the
It
references.
introduced a whole generation
So,
of late 20s, early 30s niggas to anime. Like
oh
in current
nigga,
state.
what you
Like,
mean, bro? Like,
you know,
nah, bro. Like elementary, middle school, high school. Like
yeah.
we was
No,
all.
I'm saying our current age now.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like
Yeah,
that's the generation that like DBZ like introduced
yeah.
like to the anime world. So you know, soft spot in my heart, still very mediocre.
Yeah, especially these last chapters. Like even anyway, we don't have enough time. But I'll get my anime hot takes. Hot takes is Cowboy Bebop, the live action that came on Netflix was actually good.
And that
That's
is a
the
hot
first
take.
one. That's the
Damn.
first one. I
Damn.
thought it was like for a live action adaptation, and I hate them typically. The only one that did like really good was
One
Rurouni
Piece was
Kenshin.
straight, man. One Piece was
One Piece,
straight.
One Piece
One
was
Piece
good.
was like as
One
far
Piece
as
was
capturing
good.
the feel of
Yeah,
the anime, the One Piece one
yeah. No,
was
One
straight,
Piece
and I
did
don't
that.
even like One Piece.
One Piece did do that, and I didn't even watch the shit, but I saw like the reaction. I saw like clips, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can see this. They did that.
Yeah,
Cool. But I've watched, of course, like Cowboy Bebop. It's got a soft spot in my heart. Yoko Kanno did the soundtrack. Some of my favorite jazz songs came from that damn soundtrack. So, and then to get Yoko Kanno to do the soundtrack for the live action and have new songs, then had a new jazz ballad that was sung by the girl who played Julia. Some people got their misgivings about it, but I fuck with that song. Like I fuck with it.
sure.
That nigga that's on that sax be killing it every fucking time. So that's mine. Another one. One Piece is too damn long and
Yes,
overdone with filler episodes.
yes,
Every fucking background character got to
and
get
it
3
could be good.
episodes.
It could be
It
good.
it
I
is
see
good,
the vision,
but
and I'm
yeah,
like,
like you condense this shit. I mean, like I get it. Like yeah, it's one of the longest running animes, but goddamn, it's like Bleach, except I
it's
think.
longer than Bleach, man.
Oh
What's
no, no.
Bleach on right now?
Oh no, Bleach is I think they might have wrapped up season 2 of the Thousand Year Blood War arc or whatever, and that was actually supposed to be really good. I just Bleach, One Piece, the worst fucking fillers, and like Bleach just had such disrespectful, god awful fillers to me, and that dumbass music pissed me off, and I just lost complete and utter interest, especially after Ichigo beat Aizen, and that's why I haven't watched the Thousand Year Blood War arc with Bleach. But One Piece, same shit. After Whitebeard, that whole fucking war, so much filler, lost interest, and then next thing I know, 300, 500 episodes and passed by. Can't get into it. It's just too goddamn much. I was gonna say Gear 5 was overrated, but I have not gone through the story to build up to Gear 5, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna withdraw that one.
I actually kind of and I also kind of fuck with it from like an animation perspective. It's like it's very cartoony and very
Yeah, Animaniacs.
yeah, make of your form what you will. Like it's a very great extension of his powers, right?
Yeah,
So I actually fuck with it conceptually, but I agree with you. Like I don't have the ties to it for the build up to hit me the way like it hit a lot of people. Because like a lot of people are like, this is the great. For a lot of people, Gear 5 was their Goku turning Super Saiyan.
yeah,
For a lot of people, but
yeah.
I didn't have that connection to it, so it didn't hit me the same. But I do think it's a really cool kind of like anime concept. And
Yeah,
like, I like it a lot.
I give it that because, and I definitely want to give it that because we haven't watched up to the story and like all the trials and tribulations of the actual meat of the goddamn story that matters to get to that point. That whole damn fight with Big Mama Kaido, and that shit was long and a bitch. Last anime hot take is Mushoku Tensei is bar none one of the best isekais to come out. Jobless reincarnation.
I don't think people gonna fight you on that.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised. Thought that actually that was okay, a cold take, a lukewarm take. Then, all right, well, cool. All right, I think we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes. You want to do one more?
Literally just one more, yeah.
This young, beautiful lady who is 31 and wondering why the fuck is she still single?
31. I don't have any kids. I got a credit score of 803 exact. Recently pulled. I have 2 paid off cars. I'm about to close on my first house this year in May. I'm not toxic at all. I got a big booty. I'm releasing an app on iOS and Android. I work hard as fuck. I'm not clingy, but I'll always make sure my partner feels appreciated. Okay, so I don't cook, but I can. I can learn. And it's not like I don't know how to cook, but I just don't cook as much as I should. I'm probably not as feminine as the average feminine female, but I wear heels, I dress up. I just feel like I have a very dominant personality. I'm 5'8" in my head, but 5'4" on paper. I've never actually lived with a partner before. I'm just trying to figure out, how am I not married with 5 kids running around? Like, what the fudge am I doing wrong? Most people say, oh, I don't give people a chance. Yes, I do. I have boundaries, though. And I don't let people fuck me over, I'm going to say more than 3 times, because I give chances. I even give you a second chance. But it's so easy for me to just walk the fuck out once you start playing with me. But I still don't understand how I'm still single.
We got a little bit of a time crunch, but Alvin, what do you think?
I think
want to know.
I think the first thing that people need to realize is that finding your person is just hard. So outside of anything else, oftentimes people are single just because, even if you're dealing, and this is also not usually the case, but let's say hypothetically you're dealing with, people of the type that you're interested in, and they're great people, and they're smart and they're funny and they're driven and they're all this kind of stuff, and then just for whatever reason you guys just aren't clicking. That happens because it's hard to connect with people on a level where you want to be with them long term. That's not easy, even if you're dealing with like
True.
good people, right? It's hard to click with good people sometimes. So I think that's number one. I think people think that this is a lot easier than it is.
Especially when
be
they
very
like
hard.
seeing other people who might not be as attractive or as successful as them, and like, oh my God, they are in a relationship and they got kids. Like,
Yeah. I also think that when people do these kind of things and they ask for this kind of advice, they're running through a checklist, because men do this more often. What
run
I'm
through a check.
seeing,
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing women drift into that same thing too. But it's like a lot of men are like, oh, I make 6 figures, I'm 6 feet tall, and I go to church, and I ain't got no kids. That shit. Your interactions with people are more than a checklist, right? Like, a checklist obviously helps get your foot in the door, and in a lot of cases it's good garnish, but the meat and potatoes of your relationship is going to be a lot more than that, and it's probably something in terms of how she interacts with people interpersonally that
Yes.
has nothing to do with the fact that she has cars and that she does
Yes.
this and all this kind of stuff. I will also say that I don't subscribe to this, because I 100% value all of the things that she stated. There is a large set of men that don't give a shit about that. There's a significant portion of men that are like, I don't care that you have 2 houses. I don't care that you are releasing, apps on 2, large platforms and all that kind of stuff. So when you're dealing with those kind of men, a lot of times what keeps them is how you interact with them interpersonally. And I imagine that there's probably some gaps. Not saying that she's even doing anything wrong, because I firmly believe that everybody can find their person that they interact with and they mesh with and they gel with, being their clear, authentic selves, with some room to kind of grow and improve and learn over time to become a better person for that person. But in general, I think you can find the person that fits with who you are as you are, with that one caveat being my only one. But I'm pretty sure that she's either she's not finding the person that meshes with her interpersonally, and she's probably trying to compensate with achievement, because men do that shit all the time, and it don't work out that well for men either.
I don't.
And
I
she's
think
probably blinded by the fact that she's so accomplished and she's done so many things, and she's not moving forward or adjusting her tactics to try to find the men that she could mesh with naturally, or willing to change in order to acquiesce and make it work with the men that she is attracting in that space, like on an interpersonal personality level. I think she can get past that. I think she just needs to. I don't think people's first option should be to change. I think their first option should be to kind of find the person that meshes with them. But again, you got to be willing to go through that process, and it can be long and it can be hard.
I was brilliantly and beautifully stated as usual. I might be part of that. Part of like slightly like it's like a Venn diagram, right? Like where like there's some overlap where like I don't care about some of the things that she mentioned, like some of her accomplishments, like in terms of a relationship and like what I look for in my partner. It's like, yes, I want somebody who works, who's successful, but at a certain point, it's like, great, I'm rooting for you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. Do what you want to do, but that in and of itself is not going to be your selling point as into why I would want to be with you in a long-term relationship. Your achievements, your accomplishments, they ain't got shit to do with how you would treat me, how you would have my back, if you would have my back. Like, do we get along? Like, do you get my sense of humor? Like, all those nuances and day in, day out, how we actually work together, your accomplishments, that's not adding to the value of what I see like in the relationship to a certain extent, because I ain't about to be with no bum. You know what I mean? And then the next part was like you said, she mentioned a few things affect her like negatively, like in terms of interpersonal like relationships. Like, I'm mad dominant. And I don't I don't really play into that whole like, oh, she's too masculine type shit. But like, really, it's just like more so interpersonal relationships, how you treat your man, how you talk to your man. Like, are you willing to compromise? How do you resolve conflict? Do you think you always right? It's shit like that, like those interpersonal skills, those nuanced interpersonal skills. And then you've never lived with someone. So the first time you live with someone over an extended period of time, like you're used to having things your way. And when you invite somebody else into your space, I guarantee you're going to have a tough time, because you're going to want shit exactly how you want shit. And as soon as some shit ain't exactly how you wanted that shit, it's going to be some shit.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah. And I gotta combat you on the whole like list thing, because like, yeah, like everybody does do it, but I feel like women more so focus on a list, on a checklist more than men do. Like women, or at least women, have a more defined checklist for what they want that might be leading them into, it's like, okay, like this is good on paper, but in real life, this ain't working.
I think what I'm saying with that is I think men often feel like they can checklist their way into some draws effectively, right?
Well, because
I think men do that more than women do.
Because that's what they value, though. Like, that was going to be my next point, is like the set of values that we're looking at this from is men have a different set of values that are really important. And what we saw like in this video, like there was like a good 6 strong examples of, I got my credit score is an 803. Congratulations. Absolutely. Hey, look, my shawty gonna have a good credit score. When we get a fucking house, or when we do some shit together, when it's joint, like, hey, look, green flags every goddamn way. So I give her that one. But like, as far as like, I got 2 paid off cars, what the fuck am I gonna do with that? Like, y'all could use it, but like, that's not like, if we divorce, any of the shit that you have, I'm not taking with me.
It depends.
Like, I'm not
on
looking.
What state.
True that, but it's just the thing of like, I don't want to feel like a bum in my relationship, so I want to feel like I'm providing something. And when I hear about like all these accomplishments, I got this, I got that, I got this, I was like, okay, that's your shit, that's your shit.
I think for me, I think accomplishments are proxy measures for how somebody deals with life shit. Right. I mean, it can be a proxy for follow through. It can be a proxy for discipline. It can be a proxy for staying the course. Like, what I mean? And I think a lot of that is very important in a relationship. So I definitely look at accomplishments in and of themselves intrinsically as something that can be good measures for what makes somebody a good partner. In addition to the fact that if you're accomplished, we have to move through this life shit together. So to paraphrase you, Josh, like, if you're accomplished, you're not a bum, and I don't marry bums. You know what I mean? So I very much like want to hear a rundown, at some point. Like, I want that all to kind of factor in. But I do acknowledge that a lot of men don't think of that, at least not initially, not right off the bat.
Because I'm with you on that, and I don't mean to sound like, oh my God, Josh is insecure. He don't want a woman that's doing better than him, because that's gonna make him feel like less of a. It's like, because I've dated like professional like women who's like, open up their own business and they making 6 figures, and being on dates with them, and sometimes at times like being around them could be damn, I don't have the best word for it. I'll just say a little bit exhausting, because they just talk about everything that they're doing. It's all about them. their accomplishments. What they're trying to do is like, damn, I got a life too. Like I'm, but I'm not getting like you're actually not learning about me. Like you're focusing on a fucking checklist and like focusing on the things that you want in a man and you becoming a man that you want and thinking that shit is and thinking that that's what I value in a relationship and what I'm looking for in a partner. It don't work like that. And it ain't even on no insecure shit. It's just, I think sometimes we just have different values and like just like how you got to speak to people's love language. It's the same shit. Like, cool, congratulations. Like, I'm rooting for you. I love to hear that shit. I love to hear when people successful. Do that shit, queen. But in terms of a relationship, building like a family together and intertwining shit, that's not really telling me all too much. So,
I think we're gonna have to revisit this one next episode.
Yeah,
because
big
I know
facts.
we have time.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot more meat on that bone. Pause. So with that being said, good people, everybody, it's been your boys Waving the Red Flag podcast, Josh, Alvin. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have the young bull, Sir Edward Overgold, on the podcast next week. So with that being said, if you're watching old school animes through rose-colored glasses or rose-colored lenses, and just thinking that this is the best shit popping 20 plus years later, you might be waving a red flag because shit could be trash 20 years later if you really look at it. But if you're only looking through dating through the lens of your own personal checklist, then it very well could be you that's waving a red flag. It's been your boys, Josh, Alvin, waving a red flag. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know that when we're going live, if we're doing some cool shit, always stay informed. Don't forget if you don't forget to sign up for the Patreon, the Spotify. Check us out where any goddamn podcasts are available. You can get bonus content, see what we're up to. Give us your feedback, your advice, whatever the fuck it may be. Do that. And always a pleasure. We'll see y'all next week. Take care. Roll the tape.
It's a red flag.